So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug was an Instagram find from a company called Thirsty Mug. See if I can hold this with my hot tea. You see the little musical notes and everything like that across. And I just love this handle of the treble. Anyway. However, I would not recommend this coffee mug. I would not recommend this company at this time. This little guy cost $18. He barely holds 7 ounces. Had I realized how small it was, I would have at least reconsidered purchasing it. I might have bought it anyway, considering the mood. Whatever mood I was in at the time. But yeah, for $18, I know it is a novelty mug and all of that stuff, but I have novelty mugs that cost me a lot less than that. My daughter has bought me novelty mugs that are at least $5 less than that, and are much bigger. So yeah, I'm not too impressed, Thirsty Mug. It's a cute mug. It's very, very tiny. All of that said, today's tea is the Tazo Passion, which is an exuberant herbal infusion of hibiscus, orange peel, rose hips, and passion fruit. As I recall, I really did like this tea, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Tiny little mug. Okay, because it's such a small mug, I don't think I put enough sugar in here. I'm getting a bit of a sourness to the tea at this point, and it does have sugar and milk in it, but I am getting the fruity flavor. And it hasn't been sitting that long. One thing about a little mug like this, your tea's going to be strong. But anyway, needed more sugar in there. So today we are going to be doing our 1 month palette, and our month palette for last month was the LORAC Pro Shine Bright. This is a beautiful palette. Let me take out the brush. I never use the brushes that come with the palettes. I don't know. They're just, I don't know. This one seems pretty decent. I've used it a couple of times and it's been okay for like touching up and stuff. But there is what the colors look like. This is currently available on sale at the LORAC site for $29. I do not know if that means it is being discontinued. It is, however, on Ulta and Sephora for the full price of $49. So, I don't know. But it is still available. I actually have really enjoyed this palette this past month. It did get a little harder to reach for later in the month, and I had other more interesting things. My biggest issue with this palette at this time is that it's not bright. It's colorful, but these colors are all actually fairly dark, especially once applied, with a few exceptions, like the gold and the vanilla and the crepe. Those colors are nice and light. This is the passion color that I used under my brow today, as you will see in our palette tutorial. But overall, I find it very dark, colorful, but dark for a quote-unquote bright palette. I would have liked to have seen some of these neutrals, because as we know, I don't use too many browns, but I would have liked to have seen some of these neutrals replaced with lighter shades, a lighter blue, a slightly lighter green, even if they were mattes, but something on the lighter side. But overall, other than that, the shades have performed well. There's a few I have not used, and I don't think you'd be surprised that it's, in the brown areas. I did use this one at one point. I have used some of these lighter shades. I don't think I used this shade Nectar yet. But overall, the shades are really, really good. They do apply nice and smooth. They blend well. They're highly pigmented. They don't require a lot of work to work with. Some of the shades do have quite a bit of fallout, especially in the mattes and a couple of the darker shimmers down here have a lot of fallout. My favorite color, Royalty, I didn't see a lot of fallout, but the color Cosmic, which I also enjoy, has a little bit of fallout. I have also found that they work very well with my setting spray to create an eyeliner. I didn't use it today, but with the look, I needed something actually a little darker than what's in here. And that's one thing I have to say I do appreciate. A lot of the palettes that I get that have a darker color story almost always include a black, and they didn't include a black in here. So even though I needed one today, I'm really glad that I don't have yet another black in yet another quote-unquote colorful palette. So that was really nice. The color story, like I said, I think for the most part, I like the colors that they pick. They do have this darker rose, and then they have a lighter rose, but I would have liked to see a lighter green, a lighter blue, a slightly lighter purple in place of some of these more neutrally browns up here. I think that would have been, I mean, you can keep a couple of browns. It would be easy to keep a couple of browns and still have place for the lighter colors that I would have appreciated in here. The pigmentation is great. I can give you some swatches, but let's go ahead and do that real quick. Nothing on my arms, just to remind you when I swatch and everything. And I'm actually going to go this way on the palette. It includes a really, really nice mirror. The packaging is cardboard, but it's sturdy cardboard, and it's very nice packaging, and the mirror is very, very nice. I appreciate having the mirror. I've used it more than a few times. I'm not sure what it is about the size of this palette versus the size of some of the other palettes that are very similar, but I found this mirror very easy to use, whereas in the past some of the mirrors have been hard to use. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to start from up here and work my way down. Really girly. So this is the first row. I have to see what I'm doing. You can see some of my problem with some of the lighter colors and the browns, but you can also see that there's fairly decent pigmentation. So that's our first row. I did find that this color Atlantis, which is a bluey green in the pan, tends to come off more green in use. I am not doing these any justice. I'm not good at the swatchy thing. But again, and this color here is called Heyas, and it's practically the same color as my skin. So you can see the others. They really do show up better on my eyes than they do on here. So we are talking no anything to help them out. So let's do our next row. That spruce comes off very mossy on my eyes. It's looking a little brighter in this swatching. I'm going to go ahead and remove these. Well, maybe I can get all the way down the arm. We'll see. Let's keep moving. So we've got Crepe and the next row, and that row includes my favorite Royalty. Where are we at? I use that Crepe to lighten things up a lot. There you can see Royalty. Royalty is gorgeous. All right, moving up one more. The last row. I know you're shaking. We shaking. So there's the swatches. Most of the ones that have issues are because of my skin tone. They have no actual pigmentation issues. It's all because they're melding into my skin tone, which is why they would be colors I would use under the brow if I would use them at all. There's a few that I don't think I will ever use, but you never know. You never know. I did try to use some of the browns in the past. But yeah, just, they're not my colors. So some of the looks that I've created, I'll be honest, I don't remember everything that I did with all of them. It's been a long month. It really has. But I do have some notes here and there. This time, instead of doing the glasses and without the glasses, I just went in without the glasses and then did a closed eye look, so you can kind of get a better view of the pigmentation when I actually use them. So this first, and we're going to be doing it the same way that we did before, where I will tell you about them before and then you'll get to see the pictures. So this first look is one that is based on the picture that I'll be showing you later, that also I did this look based off of. And in fact, it was the foundation of the look that I'm wearing now. I did make some minor changes to make some things show up better and to get some brighter color. But it was based on the photo from Amy Brown, and it is the very first look that I did with this particular palette. As you can see there, as you will see, I should say, there's lots of pigmentation. There's beautiful colors. They just are very dark and almost dramatic, I would say. But it is a very beautiful, like I said, it's a very beautiful pigmented palette, so you can definitely see all the color that I use to try to create the greens and the blues of the Amy Brown inspiration. I do think the inspiration worked, but here is that first look. So this second look I did for a Whole and Healthy Wednesday. I went more neutral. I worked more with the golds and the bronzies and the bronze colors. I do really enjoy this gold here, which is on the inner part of my lid. I went more with the neutrals under the eye, did more of, not sure quite what I used on the outer corner, but this is a more neutral look that you can get with the palette, which shows that the palette is versatile, even though I'm not a big neutral fan. It is very versatile if you want to have some neutral daily type colors with just a pop of color. You could probably also replace that gold with one of these less intense, bright, shiny colors and still get a very good daily look. So this next look also is very neutral. It's even more neutral than our last one because it doesn't include the gold. Part of the reason for that is I mixed it with the e.l.f. Opposites Attract palette, which has more of the lighter oranges and tans that I was looking for this look. Actually not one of my favorites out of the bunch that I've done. But again, it does show that you can mix the palette with other palettes and come up with ways to lighten up this color story a little bit and come up with something very natural, very neutral, and very, you know, work worthy, I guess. Me, I'd wear anything to work anyway. But for those who are in positions where they need to have something that they can use to go ahead and, you know, want to do their makeup to feel pretty or whatever, but not have anything too bright, the palette does mix very well with other palettes. So that is a plus to, even though that fact that is a darker story. Here is that look. And for this last one I'm showing you, I wanted something much brighter than this was giving me, because like I said, I honestly believe that while this is colorful, I think that calling it the Shine Bright palette is a bit of a misname, although I think a lot of palettes are doing that these days. We're the peach palette. We have no peach colors, but we're the peach palette. And I'm not bagging on that particular palette because I know there's one out there. I'm saying we're seeing a lot of that. I've seen a lot of it from Violet Voss and several other companies. But for this one, it says Shine Bright. And really, yes, I guess, well, about half of the palette is shimmers of some kind, but the other half is matte. So you can't even say it's talking shine because we have all these shiny textures in here. We can't say formula is all shiny. And the colors, a lot of the colors, even though they're looking bright on the screen, they do come off dark when you wear them. So I ended up mixing it with a palette that is bright, and that is the ColourPop Chasing Rainbows palette for this next look. I really, really like this next look, and I'm actually considering eventually, lately I haven't been able to get to one, but eventually doing a Bright Ladies and doing something similar to this for the Bright Ladies series. And here's that look. Alrighty, so that was the looks that I've managed to play around with, and like I said, the look that I've done today was based on the very first look that I've done, and it's also based on or inspired by this particular image from Amy Brown. The title of that image is Love Dragons. I love the colors, the blues and the greens and the purples. They're very perfect for me. I can speak. Anyway, so that is what our current look is based off or inspired by, and I hope it actually meets the challenge a little bit. The biggest problem, as I noted before, was the lack of lighter colors, like a lighter blue or a lighter green. I do believe the spruce actually really worked for this. It does have that sort of mossiness to it, even though it's on the shinier side. Anyway, so here is our look for the day. Let's go ahead and get to it so you can see how to do this, and then we'll get back for some final thoughts. So as usual, I have my face all set to go. I've put on my primer. I've got my concealer and my primer on my eyes. So we can just go ahead and get started. This is a look. This is similar to the first look that I did with this when I first started playing with the LORAC. But I've made some decisions to make some changes, so let's go ahead and dig in. First of all, I'm going to start with this color Primrose under the brow. As usual, I'm only going to do one eye. I will do the other eye off the camera, and then we will come back. This is all pretty standard for me. One of these days I'll do something a little different, maybe. But Primrose under the brow, just from crease to brow, using all my lid real estate because I am slightly hooded, and I have found that that can help really bring out your eyes even if they can't see what's on your lid. Then we're going to take this color Royalty, which has become one of my favorite colors in the palette, and we're going to put it on the inner part of the lid. As you can see, the colors are really beautifully pigmented and very little fallout for most of them, which is nice. I'm going to take a different brush. I'm going to take my Sephora brush, and the reason I'm doing this is, one, it's a totally different color, and two, I have found that the Atlantis, it shows off as sort of a bluish green in the pan. It's looking more green on the screen, but it shows off as a bluish green in the pan, but it tends to lean more green on my eye, which is okay. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to take the Atlantis, I'm going to lay that down, and then I'm going to put Azure over it to give it more of a blue cast, because our picture does have a bit more blue in it this time. This one has a bit more fallout, but if you take a look at that, you can see how it leans more green once it's on the eye. So I'm going to grab some of this Azure, which is a matte shade, and I'm going to pat that kind of over it to give us a bit more blue in there. We're not losing the Atlantis green or the shine. We're just giving it a bit more of a blue cast. For our purple dragon, we're going to take some of this Cosmic. That is going to go into the crease and do my usual little wing thing that I do. One of these days, like I said, I'll do something different someday. Someday. Like I said, these colors are just, they're beautiful. Really do enjoy them. So I just go from about the middle of my lid up towards my brow and then around in a half circle. I don't think I've ever explained that to you guys. Again, using all my real estate to help with my eye, with the hood I have, because if I look straight on, you don't see much. You see the lower edge of my eye, but you don't really see a whole bunch else because of the hood. And then I'm going to take one of my flat brushes and I'm going to bring some of that Cosmic down on the lower lash line a little bit, like that. Not going too far in, just going about halfway. Previously, I used the Azure to try to deepen my crease. This time I'm going to use the Slate Blue. The Azure works, but I really have to build it up because of the color combination already here. I'm going to go ahead and use this Slate Blue, and that shouldn't need quite as much building as the Azure did. Again, they're both mattes. One's more of a purpley blue, and the other one is a bit on the lighter side, but still a blue. Oh, yeah. We're just deepening up right in the crease and doing that little corner at the bottom, like that. Now we're going to take another fluffy brush. And the last time, I think I used like the vanilla and the crepe on the middle of my eye, but this time I'm going to use Gold Rush. I want to do something else. I want to brighten this a little bit, blend these colors, add a little brightness. Not trying to do too much, just in the center of this lid. That. I'm going to add just a touch more. Just a touch. I'm going to snag some of this spruce to finish out what I've started with the purple here, but I'm going to lighten it with the vanilla. That's what I'm going to do. I think last time I did the crepe, but this time we're going to lighten it with the vanilla. This is going to start deep in here. So you can see it's a very, very dark color, and I'm blending it into that purple a little bit. And then we're going to brush that off a bit and then go over here and get this vanilla and do that on the very inner part to lighten it up just a little bit. Still a deep dark green, but you know, it's not as dark as it was. As you can see, I have quite a bit of fallout over here. It really does seem to depend on the shade. However, that is it for this eye. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera, finish the rest of my face, and then we'll be back for our closing remarks. See you in a few. Alrighty, so here is the finished look. As you saw earlier, I'm probably losing a little bit on my inner corners, but other than that, hopefully we're looking pretty good. I did blend the crease a little bit more off camera. When I finished out, I did take that purple that I put along the bottom and I brought it out just a little bit and darkened it. Did that nice little line that I like to do sometimes. And I did have to do some minor fixing, but other than that, I didn't change the colors or anything like that. I did take that vanilla, and I don't even know if it's still there. Hold on a minute. It's already coming off because my eyes are having so many issues. But I initially had taken that vanilla and put some on the inner corner of the eye, and it's already faded down. But that I'm not blaming the palette for that. I have that issue with my eyes pretty much everywhere. So, however, that's our look for today and look for this particular palette. I have actually really enjoyed this palette. I do recommend the palette, especially if you're not into really bright colors but want some color, because these, like I said, most of these colors are not very bright. They do blend well, they mix well, and they are highly pigmented in my opinion. For the most part, they seem to stand up to everything except the very inner corner of my eyes, and any palette that does that is a win in my book, because I will have palettes that will fade out all the way to the middle of my eye, and just, it's a mess. It's a mess. But yes, overall, I really do recommend it. Like I said, it's on sale for $29 at at LORAC.com or LORAC, whatever LORAC's website is right now. But you can still find it at Sephora and Ulta if you prefer to shop there. You will be paying $20 more if you do at this point in time when I'm filming. It's got a nice shiny thing, and my lights are just like giving it all the color. I do like the packaging. I do like the palette. I really, really have enjoyed it this month. I do see myself reaching for it more in the future. So yes, I do recommend it. It's a beautiful palette, beautiful quality, beautiful blendable shadows. The only thing you have to watch out for really is the fallout. And we get that with most any palettes, even those of quality. So yes, recommended. Really have enjoyed using it. Definitely plan to use it in the future. Which brings us to, what is next month's palette? For next month, we are aiming for more pinks and reds and purples. More of them. Next month's palette is going to be the Bad Habit Pretty Poison palette. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I have played with this before a little bit, and gonna have to do a little work on it, because this, much like the face candy palettes, you have to be careful with, because you'll put it on your eye and go, whoa, all the color. But it is another darker palette. As you can see, it has a few less colors to kind of work with, but we're gonna dig into this over the month of March, and I'm kind of looking forward to really bringing this out and playing with it. So that is our palette for the month of March, and all the notes on our palette from the month of February, and that means we're done for the day. And I hope you like what you've seen, and that if you are not subscribed, you will subscribe. If you do subscribe, you want to hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. I currently upload 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, but we do occasionally have bonus videos, and we're going to be getting a lot more bonus videos because we're getting ready to plant. And yeah, those will be, they'll take a little bit more time to get to. I haven't put the seeds in at the time of this filming, and because we're still on the cooler side, I don't see them coming up really soon. But towards summer and through summer, you'll be seeing a lot more bonus garden videos. If you're interested in those, definitely hit that bell, because those are not announced or on any of my regular days. If you're currently part of my notification squad, you may want to check your bell and your subscription, because people are still finding themselves losing those. So you want to make sure that you're in on the know too. If you choose not to subscribe, well, we would be very, very disappointed, but you are always, always welcome back. We love having the company here. We really do. And if you do come back, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. And make sure it's a decent sized cup, because yeah, no. Gonna give myself another little sip, but I suspect I'm going to need to put in some more sugar before I drink this one up. Definitely. There is, without the sugar, this particular tea has a definite sour note to it, which I'm sure comes from the passion fruit, because I think I've had passion fruit Whether or not this tastes exactly like passion fruit, I couldn't tell you, but it's a decent tea. Just needs more sugar for my particular taste. And a bigger mug, really. A much bigger mug. Anyway, you all have a great day.